Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you? On this Thursday evening, it is Thursday, December 7th, 2023, roughly 6:10 p.m. California time. I'm, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNootropics.com, coming at you with the chamomile chairs. Good to see all of you cruising through once again. Here we are, cruising through the evening with a video everybody loves to talk about. This is constipation. Don't you just get these positive emotions welling up on the inside when somebody brings up constipation, right? Isn't it something you look forward to talking about? Right. This is, of course, Kratom induced constipation. One of the, I would say, few side effects of Kratom usage that a lot of people report. No, you're not going to see it in the literature. No, you're not going to see it in the white papers. But it doesn't take too many searches to come across, a lot of people dealing with Kratom constipation. So in this video, some solutions, right? A few solutions for those of you dealing with Kratom constipation. Now, I don't deal with the constipation, and I think this is for a number of reasons, which we'll cover. I'm kind of going to cover like level 1 solutions. These are things you've probably heard about before. If you go on Reddit, you've heard about this stuff. Or you go anywhere you've heard about this stuff. This is like front page Google type stuff. And then we're going to cover more of the level 2, level 3 solutions, some of which you've most certainly haven't heard about. Probably many of you haven't heard about. So depending on your degree of constipation, depending on your degree of how bad this is, you might get positive effects from these kind of level 1 solutions, or you might need to jump to the level 2. So in that case, we're going to be covering both. So Kratom and constipation, right? I did some minor research. As you know, Kratom is a partial opioid. We know that opioids in general have a documented side effect of constipation. If you take opioids, they tend to bind up the stomach. Opioid medications, these are the pharmaceuticals, the painkillers, they create this constipation. But with Kratom, because it's not like a traditional opioid, it doesn't operate like a traditional opioid, I think it's probably safe to assume that it's not the opioid mechanism causing the constipation, and more likely just like the raw plant matter, right? So if you're taking 20, 30 plus grams of raw plant matter every day, well, that's going to bind you up, baby. That's going to bind you up. And I think a reason I really don't get the constipation, I get mild constipation, but nothing too heavy, is I only eat once a day. And I think that's important, because if you're taking 20, 30 plus grams of raw plant matter every single day on top of eating, if you're eating 3 times a day, 4 times a day, snacking throughout the day, you're eating kind of these bad foods. You're eating these foods that are probably the result of your constipation. Just take a look at what you eat. If you're eating McDonald's, you're eating fast food, you're eating the stuff that comes out of the box, and you're eating a lot of it, that's going to contribute to the constipation. And I think one big reason why I don't get the constipation is because we eat once a day. We do not eat throughout the day. We skip breakfast, we skip lunch, and we'll have a big dinner later at night. So eating less is like one solution, which for a lot of people is not ideal. Nobody wants to eat less. But when you're talking about these health solutions, A lot of these, like the real health solutions, aren't going to come in a pill form. I just hate to say it. It's not going to come in like a easy packaged form where you just take this and your problem goes away. A lot of times you have to make these kind of major changes. So one of the reasons why I think I don't get it is I'm only eating once a day. Yeah, I'm taking the kratom throughout the day, but I'm not stacking like 20, 25 grams of raw powder on top of eating, pounds of food every single day. I'm also on the bike, and this is like the level 1 stuff, which it's like everybody kind of knows the answer. It's like eat less, eat clean, drink water, right? This is like the level 1 stuff that everybody knows they should be doing, but it's like deep down we want a solution that's not so difficult. If we're going through a health problem, deep down we kind of just want a first page of Google type results, click the first link, buy the pills they're recommending, and problem solved. But when you're dealing with some of this stuff, you gotta put some real effort into it. And depending on your level of constipation, it's just common sense. Just eat less, right? Eat less, so there's just less in your stomach, because once again, stacking all that raw kratom powder is just not good on top of eating 4 times a day. So I eat once a day. The blood flow is moving. I think it's important to get your blood flow moving. I'm on the bike every single day. I'm hydrating throughout the day. Hydrating is, of course, important. Drinking water, making sure your blood flow is moving, making sure your digestion is moving. Super important. That's like the basic stuff kind of everybody knows to do. Making the tea, if the theory is correct that it's not the opioid mechanism causing the constipation and it's actually just the raw plant powder that you're ingesting, well, making the tea is going to solve the problem totally, right? In theory, if it's not the opioids, but it's like the raw plant powder, then if your constipation is so bad, you should try experimenting with making kratom tea. Now, most people suggest doubling the amount you typically take with the raw kratom powder. So if you're taking 2 grams per dose, you would take 4 grams of the powder and make tea out of that. Now, you can do that by, just like you would making normal tea. Just steep the powder in water. Some people say hot water kills the alkaloids. So just warm water. Steep it in some warm water, drain it off so you're not getting the raw plant matter, and drink the tea. This has been a solution that has worked for some. Just making the tea, because that bypasses all the raw plant powder. That bypasses all that plant matter going into your system. And it really could be as easy as that. The problem with tea is, it's just like another step you have to do. It's another step you kind of have to waste time on. You're obviously using more kratom, because if you just steep, let's say you take 2 grams of the raw kratom, well, the water's not going to extract all the alkaloids. This is why people recommend that you double the amount. So if you take 2 grams, typically you'd take 4 grams and steep that in warm water. But this adds time. This adds an additional cost of having to double the amount of the kratom, right, when you're making tea. So this is, if your constipation is real bad, this is worthy of exploring, but might not be a long-term solution. But if it's bad, then you should probably try the tea. If your constipation is that bad and you're like dying for a solution, I think the tea holds a lot of promise. I've never made the tea just because I don't really get the constipation. Because I'm only eating once a day, I'm exercising, I'm hydrating, and I think that's like the real crux of the problem is people what we're eating these days. You know, if you look into diets, if you look into like what to eat, it's we've never lived in a harder time to figure out what to eat. You know, you might look into carnivore, you might look into veganism. You know, when it comes to digestion, you'll hear vegans say, oh, fiber's really important. But then you'll hear some carnivore guy saying, you know, on carnivore, his digestion has never been better. You know, you look into some of the studies and some of the testimonials, you're going to find positive testimonials for all these crazy diets, be it carnivore, be it keto, be it vegetarian, be it fruitarian. You know, that you're always going to have these positive testimonials. In my mind, researching these diets and trying to find what to eat, my logic is, well, all the food is poisoned anyways, so it's better just to eat less. I've had better results from intermittent fasting, just eating once a day, trying to eat clean, than, you know, than any of these diets, right? Just eating less, because you know, you go the vegetable route. Well, the vegetables have been sprayed. The vegetables you're getting aren't even like real vegetables you could find in the wild. Like broccoli is a frankenfood. It doesn't grow in the wild. It's a frankenfood. A lot of these foods we eat are genetically modified. You know, and some people say, well, the literature says genetically modified foods are not bad for you. And no worse than normal foods. And I'm like, really? No negative results from eating genetically modified foods? Hard to believe. So I focus less on what I'm eating. You know, I do stick to the foods on the outside of the grocery store, but even then, it's like the meat's pumped full of hormones, the milk is pasteurized, the milk has been cooked, right, which kills all the enzymes that your body needs to process the lactose. This is why people are lactose intolerant, because they're cooking the shit out of the milk. They're destroying all the natural enzymes, and that's pretty much with every single food. The best you can kind of do is avoid the box stuff that's got all the soy. You know, it's got all the soy, all the crap. So when it comes to digestion, I think just eating less. When it comes to constipation, it's not what you eat, but like how much you eat. Eating once a day, hydrating, getting your blood moving, making the Kratom tea. I think that right there is going to solve most of your problems. You know, if you're shoveling down fast food 3 times a day, you're tearing the wrappers off of whatever snack you're eating throughout the day. This is all getting gunked up. Your stomach's all bound up. And when you're stacking like 20 to 30 grams of Kratom on top of that, I just think it's like, what else could you expect but constipation? The Kratom certainly doesn't help, but it also doesn't help to be eating so much throughout the day. So eating less. Now you're going to hear there are some things that will help. You know, the magnesium is something that is probably a good idea. That's going to soften your stools. But, you know, if you're eating a ton of food, if you're eating bad food, if you're eating a lot of this crap, magnesium's only going to help so much. Some of these vitamins, some of these minerals, only going to help so much. But yeah, something like magnesium citrate will have a laxative effect. All the forms of magnesium will have kind of like a laxative stool softening effect. But magnesium citrate's probably the better one of all of them if you're going for that laxative effect. You know, of course, magnesium's important. Involved in over 300 processes, blah, blah, blah. Magnesium, a very calming mineral, you know. So if you're taking one of these green vein strains and you're stacking like coffee, which is like a diuretic, kratom a diuretic, you're peeing more, your body's burning through more of these minerals. Yes, adding minerals replenishing minerals like the magnesium, the zinc, all these things is important. So get your minerals, preferably from food, but if you have to, buy the raw powder. Don't buy the pills, right? Because the pills, just look at the ingredients on the back of your pills. You're not just getting the magnesium. You're getting magnesium plus some other crap like titanium dioxide. You're getting metals. You're getting silica. This is why I recommend just the powders, because the powders is just the powder. And taking these capsules, taking these things in like capsule or pill form, almost inevitably guarantees that you're just putting more stuff into your stomach, more stuff into your intestines that you don't need. The titanium dioxide, the silica, just look it up. Titanium dioxide will shred your testicles, reduce your fertility. It's terrible. You know, metal should not be going into your body, right? Not titanium dioxide, not silica, which they use because it's kind of like a preservative. It has like an anti-caking effect, so that's why you see it in there, but it shouldn't be in there at all. So if you're getting something like magnesium, you're getting stuff like some of these other minerals, just get it in the powder form, weigh out your dose. Forget about these pills, forget about these capsules. So magnesium is another one that could help your constipation. Yeah, you could go to CVS and buy these like laxative drinks, but once again, you're getting a bunch of other crap you don't need, and so you're just better off buying the powder, magnesium citrate in the powder form, or whatever form of magnesium you want. Just make sure it's in the raw powder form to avoid all that other crap, right? So those are like the level 1 solutions you'll find on the front page of Google. Everybody and their mother will tell you, sleep, hydration, eating good, eating less, although some people might not recommend eating less, but that's what I found works the best, and exercise. Now, failing that, if you have like a serious constipation problem and you're dealing with a stomach, an intestinal tract that is really bound up, there's one other thing, like a level 2 thing I'd recommend you check out, and this is called sodium thiosulphate. This is a salt combined with like a sulfur component. You could pick it up at any chemical store, pick it up at they sell it as like a pool cleaning product, but don't let that deter you from thinking it's dangerous. If you look at the label, it will say harmful if swallowed, but it's sodium thiosulphate. It's just a salt. It's a salt with the sulfur component. Your body knows what to do with sulfur. It's a very abundant mineral inside of the body, of the sulfur. And what this does is it flushes you out better than anything I think I've ever tried, the sodium thiosulphate. This will clean you out. This will create an explosive bowel movement. I took this for 30 days, me and Christine. She turned me on to this stuff. The most powerful cleanser I've probably ever tried in my life, this sodium thiosulphate. This is for I think everybody should take this for 30 days as a cleanse, just to remove all the crap that's been built up over the years. Everybody should do this for 30 days just to clean out your stomach, clean out all the toxins. They commonly use this for cyanide poisoning and removing toxins from the body, but it's not something you typically see recommended. It's not on the front page of Google. It's a little scary because it says harmful if swallowed right on the thing, but it's just a salt, it's just a sulfur. Creates a very strong glutathione response in the body. So it's removing toxins. It will strip everything out. It's going to strip out all the bad stuff, but it's also going to strip out all the good stuff. Like when I say this is a detox, it's like a true to form detox. It's not just removing all the harmful stuff, but it's also going to be stripping you of all your vitamins, all your minerals. So it's important if you take this that you replenish minerals. And I'll link you guys to a video from a guy who explains it much better than I do, the protocols. But essentially you take 5 grams of this with 5 grams of something like ascorbic acid. This is vitamin C. And what the ascorbic acid does is it protects your liver once these toxins are getting flushed out and the metals are chelating. All the stuff goes into your bloodstream and gets pushed and processed through your liver. So the vitamin C is very crucial to protect the liver and facilitate the removal of all these toxins. And yeah, it's a powerful detoxifier, but it's also going to go through your intestinal tract and just shove out all the shit. It's like a squeegee that comes through and just shoves everything out. I took this for the first few days. Explosive bowel movements, which is what you want, right? It's what you want when you're constipated. Like nothing is going to bring you more happiness, more joy than when you finally feel all that shit releasing, when you finally feel all the junk, all the toxins, all the built up crap in your intestinal walls, when you finally feel all that leave your system. Very, very relieving feeling, right? And this is the stuff that does it better than anything else. And when I say explosive bowel movements, I'm talking about explosive, like it really flushes you out. So this is sodium thiosulphate. It's just a salt with a sulfur component. Good for the immune system. Anti-parasitical, antifungal, really good for removing toxins. And because it's a detoxifier, it has that effect of just flushing you out, of getting your bowels moving and giving you that release, you know? So this is something that everybody should do for 30 days just to kind of reset their stomach and just remove all the crap. But it also works in a pinch. If you just want to take it for, 1 or 2 days, 5 grams of this, 5 grams of ascorbic acid, vitamin C, it'll flush you out and you'll be surprised at the bowel movement that you have. And if you're taking Kratom and you're constipated, you know that that's something you deeply crave, right? That's something that, nobody wants to be sitting on the toilet like doubled over in pain because they're constipated and the stuff just won't come out. So this stuff will force it out, guaranteed. I think you'll be shocked at how powerful it is. So that's like the level 3 thing. And I think if you experiment with the Kratom tea, you focus on eating less, you're staying hydrated, you're trying to exercise, those are all good things. But if you want something that's just something that you take that facilitates that bowel response, this is the stuff I would recommend. So that is the video of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Fallon, GoNootropics.com. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Peace.